YouTube sometimes can be awful, man. I really hate YouTube a lot of the time, primarily because if you talk positively of something you love, you will not get any views. People will not stick around, and YouTube will not promote your videos, and people will not click on your videos. And it sucks to me because it means sometimes I have to make stuff that I hate. I have to make videos about stuff I hate because that's just the nature of this platform. YouTube wants to make you as depressed as is possible. But wait, don't worry. I'm going to change that. Today, actually, I want to tell you my favorite genre, fantasy, and specifically why I love it. I love fantasy. This is not a bad thing. I'm not going to cower to the corporate, undying gaze of YouTube. Actually, I'm just going to tell you straight away, I love fantasy books. I love the fantasy genre. And here are the reasons why I love the fantasy genre. If you don't want this, if you don't want to watch it, you can leave. Right now, you and me, like I'm talking to you, you can leave. If you don't like this, you can leave. And I don't care if YouTube does not promote this video. But the first reason why I love fantasy books is dragons. Okay, I do daily uploads. Please consider subscribing and supporting me. Actually, the first reason why I love the fantasy genre, this one is serious, is actually, I hate, first of all, I hate literary snobs, because a lot of the time, literary snobs are convinced that the fantasy genre and fantasy books are for children. Fantasy and science fiction, these two genres are the most two flexible genres in existence. And whatever you want from them, you can get it. Like you want something from fantasy, let's say you want to explore poverty. You can literally build a country, a world, a planet, a continent. You can build several continents that are extremely poor, and you can juxtapose those continents with other continents that are rich and who maybe exploit them or who maybe take their resources, and you can do a lot. Do you see what just happened? You wanted to do something, let's say explore poverty. You did it. You created a world that allows you to explore this to the maximum extent. Can you do it in the real world? Yes. But you can do it with magic and dragons in the fantasy genre. This is why I abhor literary snobs, because to me they're just some grouchy bastards who don't like art. At the end of the day, the fantasy genre, you can mold it to whatever you like. And if you want to explore literary subjects, you can do it. And if you want to explore, fun, just have fun and have some group of people go on an adventure where they are not really learning anything externally, but they are developing and they are practicing and they're becoming better with the sword or something like that. You can have that too. This is why I abhor literary snobs. But at the same time, this is why I love the fantasy genre. In fact, one of my favorite authors, Brandon Sanderson, puts it in an immaculate way.
When I was doing a book signing, and a mom came up to me after I signed some books for her young daughter, and the mom said, not to be offensive, but why? Why do you guys like this stuff? I can't figure it out. It's not realistic. Why fantasy? It's not insulting to ask me why I like it. This mother really genuinely wanted to learn. You see, I feel like fantasy as a genre can do anything. This is great. This means that you can find in fantasy literary styling as great as the great literary classics. You can find a romance as powerful and passionate as anything in the romance genre. You can find a mystery as intriguing as any mystery, and it's all fantasy.
I cannot speak as well as Brandon Sanderson, okay? I can't do it. Dragons.
Dracarys.
Okay, honestly, heroes become family. So what I'm talking about is when fantasy books are epic in scale, like, The Lord of the Rings, The Way of Kings, A Game of Thrones, Gentlemen Bastards, all of these stories, they are epic in scale. You spend thousands of pages with these heroes, and these heroes become your secondary family, like brothers in another life or in another world. They don't just feel like a mystery protagonist detective noir who just goes and tries to solve the mystery, and the story is really not about them, but they are more or less a vehicle for the plot to happen to them. No, Kaladin is personal. Like he suffers with depression. He is in a world that is, he is surrounded by assholes, and he has to fight and try his best in order to protect those who cannot protect themselves. Like, you spend thousands of pages with Kaladin and you just cannot help but fall in love with the guy. And this is one of the things the fantasy genre does. Imagine if you read 10 books into the Wheel of Time. At that point, Rand and the other characters will feel like other brothers to you. And this is something that I have not experienced in any other genre. I know like science fiction has the possibility to do this, and I know in historical fiction this can also happen, but the way I experienced it, and the reason why I actually love the fantasy genre, is sometimes I'll just pick up a very fat book so I can become friends with these characters. I love the reality that you can connect with characters and you can join them and they can become a secondary family in a secondary world. And hey, the final reason I want to share with you is that fantasy at the end of the day is just fun. Yep, like how do I put it? Is there another way of putting it? Could I have phrased it in a way that will impress a snob? Yes. Am I going to? Hell no. I love fantasy because it's just fun. It's fun to explore, allomancy in Mistborn. It's fun to consider like, dude, this is a huge fog. And the whole story revolves around that to a good extent. And I can't help but, fall in love with the city of Comor. I can't help but fall in love with the magic and the mystery and Dresden and, all of these characters that I read about. And the way it's just it's a unique spin on something you're already familiar with. And it's just fun. It's fun to hear a very interesting premise and to go into the book and read that premise. It really is fun. Could I put this in a way that will impress a snob? Absolutely. I will not do that, however, because I think the statement, fantasy is just fun, is enough on its own. I don't have to add anything. Fantasy is just fun. Honestly, you could be on the back of a dragon with your favorite friend, which is, you have spent thousands of pages with them. Like, yeah. Fantasy is fun. It's that simple. It's a simple statement and it works effectively. I do daily uploads and I hope that you enjoyed this video. Those are 3 reasons plus dragons, 4 reasons. Tell me why you love or hate the fantasy genre. Hey, and if you hate the fantasy genre, just tell me why and I can give you and recommend you a book that will fix a book that is fantasy that will exactly fix the problem you have with the genre. Okay? So I hope that you enjoyed this. Have a nice day. Bye.